Welcome to part 2 of my tutorial. For part 2, we're going to be learning how to make all these embellishments. You will need a tapestry needle, crochet hook, and this is 5mm. This will be good if you're doing the adult size. If you're doing a smaller size hat, you might want these embellishments to be a little bit smaller. So I would move down a hook size to 4.25mm, which is a G or 6 hook, or you can move down to a 4mm crochet hook. We're going to begin with our eyes. Make a slip knot, so wrap that around your thumb, pull up a strand, insert your hook. Now pick up your working yarn. Okay. So we're going to chain 8. So there's 1. And then hold that with your fingers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now hold that spot with your fingers right there. We're going to do 3 chains now. 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to work into that same stitch where we just had our fingers, okay, which is the 8th chain from this end. So we're going to wrap the yarn around and we're going to do double crochets into 7 stitches. Wrap it around and pull through, wrap it around and pull through. Next stitch. Make sure as you're inserting your hook here that you have 2 strands on the top of the hook. I know it's kind of hard to see with the black. So 2 strands on top, 1 strand on bottom. Pull through 2, through 2. Next stitch. Through 2. 2, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then in this next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet. So for half double crochet, you wrap it around the hook. I'm going to go in. Again, remember we need to have 2 strands on top, 1 strand on bottom. And now we have 3 on our hook. So we're going to wrap around and pull through all 3. Okay, that's the end of that first round. So now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, turn your work. And we're going to do a single crochet right here into this loop right there. So wrap it around and pull through 2. Alright, the next stitch we're doing another single crochet. Okay, the next stitch we're doing 2 half double crochets into the same, both of them in the same stitch. So we're moving on to the next stitch here. We've got 3, pull through all 3, wrap it around, same stitch, wrap it around, pull through all 3. The next stitch we're doing 2 double crochets. So pull through 2, pull through 2, and then into that same stitch another double crochet. The next stitch we are doing 3 triple crochets. So for a triple crochet, we wrap the yarn around twice. 1, 2. So now we're starting with 3 strands. Go into that next stitch, Now we have 4, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So that's 1, we're doing 3. In, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Last one, same stitch, 2, 2, and 2. All right, into our next stitch, we're doing 2 triple crochets. Through 2, 2, 2. Wrap around twice again, going to that same stitch. 2 and 2. All right, our next stitch, we're going to be doing a double crochet. Okay, so now it looks like this. Now we're going to slip stitch into this top of this chain over here. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and cut that yarn. Pull through. And you have one eye. So now you're just going to repeat that for the second eye. Now we're going to do our chin. Again, just make a little slip knot here. Put your hook on. Make sure you've got your working yarn that you're working with. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to chain 3 and working into this 4th chain before we chain 3. We're going to wrap around and we're going to do a double crochet. Okay, moving on to the next stitch, another double crochet. Next stitch, double crochet. One more double crochet in this next stitch. And make sure, it's especially hard sometimes on this first one, that you have 2 strands on top, 1 strand on bottom. Okay, we're going to chain 3, turn our work, wrap that yarn around, go into, we're not going into here, we're going into this stitch here. And we're just going to do 1 double crochet into each stitch across. And then another double crochet into the top of that chain. Okay, it looks like that. We'll do 1 more. Turn your work. 1 double crochet into each stitch across. Again, for a total of 5. Go ahead and slip stitch, cut your yarn, and you have your chin. Next we're going to be making these. So you'll start with your gray. And we're going to do a magic circle. So So wrap that yarn around your hand, make an X. Under, grab that yarn around, pull through, pinch. We're going to be working over these 2 strands. So we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do 9 additional, so we're counting this as a stitch. We're going to do 9 single crochets into this loop. So we'll put our strand in, make sure there's 2 strands on top there. Pull through, wrap it around and pull through. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll count those. All right, one more. Pull that nice and tight. So we've got a total of 10. I'm going to slip stitch here into that first loop there. Okay, so that's the center. We're going to change colors to black. So tie a little knot here with our black. Slide it down. Wrap that black around and pull through. Pinch, pull that gray. All right, so now we'll chain 2. And going in here to this first stitch, we're doing 1 single crochet. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2. So we're just going to rotate going all the way around, 1 single crochet and 2 single crochet. 1, 'All right, so keep going all the way around and I'll meet you here. So I made it around, doing 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. So here's 1 single crochet. We're going to add this here so that this creates a 2 single crochet. So we're going to work in right here to that little space. Okay, and we slip stitch and then cut that yarn and pull through. Okay, so we'll do that a second time for the other side. Next we'll be making this earpiece. We'll start by making the white circle. So we'll start with a magic circle. So wrap that yarn around your hand. Make an X. Go under. Pull that through. Pinch. Switch hands there. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be working over these 2 strands. So we'll chain 3. Okay, this counts as our first crochet, our first double crochet. So we're going to be doing another 9 for a total of 10. So we'll count this as 1. We're doing double crochets, so wrap that yarn around. Go into that magic loop. Got 2 strands on top there. through 2, pull through 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'll just double count just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so we'll start pulling this little end here. Start closing up that loop. And we're going to slip stitch here into this space. Close up that circle. Pull that. Alright, now we're going to chain 3. And for round 2, we're doing 2 double crochets into each stitch all the way around. So this chain will become 2 double crochet at the very end of this round. But we're going to do 2 double crochet into this space right here to start. So there's 1, we'll do 2 into that first stitch. We'll turn this into 2 double crochet at the end. Next stitch, 1 and 2. So continue to do that 2 double crochet into each stitch all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. So we made it all the way around. I'm going to wrap that yarn around, and we're going to turn this into an increase by doing 2 double crochet. So this is 1, now we're adding 1 so that it matches. So work right in there, and then slip stitch. Okay, so cut that, pull through. So you're going to make that again for the other side. Moving on, we're going to make this little rectangle that goes on the ear. So we'll make a little slip knot, put our hook in. Sure we're using our working yarn here, and we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to chain 3, and we're going to do a double crochet into this stitch right here. There's 1, double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, and again, this last one can be a little tricky sometimes. Okay, we'll cut our yarn, slip, just kind of pull that through to a little chain to tie that off. Okay, you'll make that again as well. We need 2 of that. Next, we're going to make this mouthpiece. So for the mouth, we're going to do a little slip knot. and we're going to chain 13. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now we're going to chain 1 additional, and we're going to do a single crochet here into that 13th chain. So there's our single crochet. The next stitch we're doing a half double crochet. Make sure you got those 2 loops on top. We pull through all 3. Okay, the next 4 stitches we're doing 1 double crochet into each stitch. So 1, on to the next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, and the last stitch, 4. Okay, into this next stitch we're going to be doing 3 stitches into this. We're going to start with a double crochet into that stitch, pull through 2 and pull through 2. Okay, our next stitch we're actually going to be doing a triple crochet. So wrap that yarn around twice, go into that same stitch, pull through 2, through 2, and through 2. Into that same stitch we're now going to do a double crochet. Alright, now to the next 4 stitches we're doing 1 double crochet. Oh, make sure you got those 2 loops on top. There we go. So 1 double crochet, next stitch 1 double crochet, three, this is our third 1 double crochet. Alright, our 4th and final 1 double crochet. Okay, now we're doing a half double crochet. Pull through all 3. The last stitch we're doing a single crochet. And then go into that same stitch and do a slip stitch. Cut that yarn, pull through, and then you'll just kind of flatten it out and make it downturn a little bit. There we go, and you have your mouth. Now we're going to do this little gray part for under the eye. Again, it's optional, you don't have to do it. So we're going to make a little slip knot. Put our hook in. Bring that working yarn around. I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, now we're going to chain 3, and we're going to wrap that yarn around and do a double crochet into that 5th chain. Next stitch, double crochet. So 1, 2, next stitch is our 3rd, 1 double crochet. Alright, and our 4th, 1 double crochet. Alright, and then we will do 1 single crochet into this next stitch. Okay. So that is that. We can end that with a slip stitch through that same stitch. And cut that, pull it, and you've got that little spot for under the eye. So now we're just going to spend some time cleaning these up a bit. So keep like one of the long strands. For this one, you're going to work in, you're going to want to keep the gray because that's what we're going to use to stitch it on. So to clean it up, you just attach that tapestry needle, go on the back side, and just kind of work it in, and then cut it off. Okay, just to clean up all of these. So you'll want to leave like one strand on each thing to stitch it onto the hat, and then work in the whatever you're not going to be using to stitch onto the hat. So after you get them cleaned up a bit, you'll spend some time positioning them on the hat. One recommendation I do have is put the eyes a little bit closer together than you think, because once the hat is on the head, it tends to move away a little bit more once it's bent up. So put the eyes just a little bit closer together than you normally would as you're stitching them on. So one by one, you'll use your tapestry needle to sew each piece on in the spot that you would like it. Okay, so make sure that it's centered, that each piece that you're putting on is centered. You can clip it on, and that can just kind of help it stay in place as you're stitching it on. After you get these pieces on, you will turn it and you'll put the earpiece here in the middle of the side. One other tip is you're attaching the gray, make sure that you these little spots here, make sure you're using the gray and you just attach the gray part. That makes it have a little bit more of a three-dimensional feel. The black will poke up and out. If you don't like that look, you can use black to stitch it down so it's more flat like that. So I finished attaching all of my embellishments and tying off my loose ends on the inside. I go into more detail on some of my other tutorials, so check out R2D2 or my BB-8 crochet hat tutorial if you're wanting more detail on how I attach everything. But I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe if you liked this one, and check out my other Star Wars tutorials, which I will put here. And I'll see you guys next time.